this is Cold Turkey throwing down with Skyrim as per usual. Why? Because Skyrim is awesome. And of course we got Lo-Kag here.
Hello, Cold Turkey. Glad I could be of service for another commentary. Lo-Kag will smash his enemies today. Yeah.
Alright, good to hear from you, Lo-Kag. So right now we're talking with the companions. They're this group of mercenaries and whatnot. And so we've been doing a few quests here and there. Last commentary we went through this, and then of course we slew our first dragon last commentary, and we're moving on up in the world. Of course by now everybody's probably beaten Skyrim 15 times. They've already done all the quests and all that. But it bears repeating, as it does with every commentary, that this is not a 100% playthrough. I'm not going to do every quest. I'm not going to talk to every NPC. I'm not going to get every item. Probably won't even get the best items in the game, to be honest. I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to have fun. And the other big thing to remember is I'm role-playing Lo-Kag. There's going to be a lot of decisions that a lot of people are going to get upset about because they're not the best decisions from a pure power gaming standpoint. But I'm not here to power game. I'm here to role-play and have fun. So I'm going to pretend when I'm playing this game to make decisions from the standpoint of Lo-Kag.
That's right, Cold Turkey. Lo-Kag does things Lo-Kag's way, not internet nerd way.
That's right. So when Lo-Kag does something, it could be confusing. A good example, and I've had several people mail me this, Cold Turkey, why aren't you dual wielding? Dual wielding does more DPS than wielding a big two-hander. Well, there's a couple reasons. Even though dual wielding does do more DPS than wielding a two-hander, you also have to remember that wielding a two-hander allows you to keep blocking, number one, and number two, wielding a dual-hander does give you a longer reach with your weapon. So dual wielding isn't necessarily the best way to play the game, it's just a different way to play the game. Some people like to use sword and board, some people like to go with a sword in one hand and a spell in the other. You know what, you can play the game however you want. I'm not going to tell you how to be playing the game. But while we're off the subject a little bit here, I'm talking to the Jarl, and then he's going to talk about the voice, because the voice boomed after I slew the dragon, which means I got to go talk to the Greybeards. So Lo-Kag is on his way to the Greybeards. A lot of quests are starting to form. The basic plot of the game is starting to come into shape, and there'll be some things going on with that in between doing all this stuff for the companions. One such thing I'm going to do is I'm going to retrieve a family sword from this tower up here and make sure to pick flowers on the way. But back to what I was talking about earlier, the other reason I don't dual wield is because it doesn't feel like an orc thing to do. You know, every time I've played an orc, whether it be in Dungeons & Dragons or video games or anything like that, orcs wield big, huge two-handed axes and big, huge two-handed hammers. That's just the way orcs do things. So when I roleplay as Lo-Kag, when I'm trying to envision his mentality in this world, he's going to be the kind of guy who wields a big two-handed hammer. Also, he is a follower of the Daedric Prince, whom orcs swear fealty to. And you can see that as kind of a religious devotion within Lo-Kag towards the Daedric Prince that he chooses to serve, and we're definitely going to get into that here pretty soon. And because it's important to know. So from a role-playing standpoint, that's the other reason why I'm just going with a big two-handed weapon. There's the family sword right there, along with a few other tidbits here and there. Orcish Warhammer, woo! Booyah! Let's get some orc power going on. So yeah, that's what I wanted to explain, because I've gotten a few emails about, you know, the whole dual wielding versus wielding a big two-handed. And you know what, yes, dual wielding does do the most damage, but hey, wielding a big two-hander does allow you to continue blocking, and it allows you to have a longer reach. But we've already talked enough about that, blah 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 blah. What are we going to be doing next? Well, I'm talking to this schmuck in town, as I'm getting him his sword back. You know, why couldn't he get it himself? That's one of the most hilarious things about... You ever notice that about games like this? It's like everybody in the world is incapable of doing something. Can you imagine real life was like this? You're just walking down the street, and somebody's like, I lost my groceries in the store. Could you go get me the groceries? And they got like an exclamation point over their head. You go to the store, you get them the groceries. Why wouldn't they go do it themselves? It's so out of touch with reality, it's hilarious. But that's kind of what makes these games fun, I think, is there's all these little quests you do and all these people you can help out. So back to what I was talking about with companions. This is a particular dungeon I'm going to go through. We're helping out the companions, like a testing ground. I'm checking out my loot options here. Is it Farkas, I think is how you pronounce his name. Farkas. Marcus Farkas. He's Farkin Marcus Farkas. Whoa, careful with the hammer, Lo-Kag.
Lo-Kag smashed anything in his way, including puny human who says ally. Yeah.
Alright, Lo-Kag, simmer down. Lo-Kag, you have an arrow in your head.
I know. I got a headache. Oh, especially on the right side. Oh, that arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny thing about arrows in this game. See, the arrow's still in his head. Look, you can see the arrow in Lo-Kag's head. Man, no wonder he's got a headache, the poor guy. So we're helping out the companions. Farkas gets surrounded. Oh no, what doom awaits him? What horrible death will he be exposed to? And then see, I'm stuck in here because I flicked the switch, so I can't really help anything. Kind of like I'm watching a movie. I'm just sitting back and saying, oh no, poor Farkas, he's backing up to the gates. He has no choice. His doom is at hand. There's only one option left. There's only one thing to remain to be done, and that is to drop his sword and transform into a big, ugly werewolf. Which of course results in him killing everything in the room, except me, thankfully. So there you go, the companions are actually werewolves. And when you complete this sort of training quest, you get out of here, we'll talk more about it. But it's an interesting thing. You know, when I first played the game, I didn't know the companions were werewolves. I wouldn't have guessed that. But hey, they are, so what do you know? Maybe, of course, maybe they announced that in some sort of a sneak preview and I just didn't see it. That was probably it. I probably wasn't paying attention. So Farkas drops the beans. You can talk to him about, you know, what's going on with the werewolves, stuff like that. And it turns out only certain people within the companions are werewolves. Not every companion is a werewolf. So we're going to delve further into this little dungeon right here in hopes of retrieving a certain item. And we're going to squish and smash all these Silverhand punks along the way. Silverhand are pretty annoying because they use silver weapons, although silver weapons are worth more than normal weapons, so sometimes you can get some pretty fatty loots if you get lucky. So that's always kind of nice.
Orc Rage activate. Lo-Kag very angry now. Smash all who oppose him.
You know, when the screen goes red, that means I've activated Orc Rage, which puts Lo-Kag into Super Smash mode as he does even more damage and takes less damage, which is awesome. I always want to go into Rage mode whenever I'm fighting a lot of opponents, sometimes when I'm in a boss encounter. Another thing you can do when you're going into boss encounters is juice up on a lot of potions, put poison on your weapon. Or don't, do whatever you want to do. Like I said at the beginning of the commentary, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to tell you how to play this game. You know, if you want to watch commentaries that are 100% playthroughs, tell you how to play the game and show you how to quote-unquote power game and get the optimal performance out of everything, these are definitely not the commentaries for you. No, when I'm playing Lo-Kag, it's more of a role-playing, hanging out and having fun kind of a standpoint. So we got the items that we wanted from the room, and then all these undead are going to come out of these casks, and we're going to have to fight our way through them, and eventually we'll be able to leave the room, because one of the casks that falls down reveals the exit. So there you go. But when I play Lo-Kag, it's more about fun, and it's more about role-playing. I just want to have fun when I play games. And I know to some people that's like a friggin' capital crime. It's like, what? Fun? You're not being a power gamer? You're not optimizing every single decibel of everything? Oh. But you know, I'd say live and let live. Let people play the game they want to play. Let people play it the way they want to play it. I still have tons of friends, for example, who play League of Legends. I haven't touched that game in like 6 months. But you don't see me making fun of them for still playing it. No, it's just not a game I choose to play anymore. Same thing with World of Warcraft. I know tons of people who still play World of Warcraft. I used to play it a lot, but I don't play it anymore because I choose not to. I just like to move on, and I don't like to play the same game for prolonged periods of time. So now we're going to return back to the companions. We've completed the proving ground test quest, so to speak, and we're going to go into this little inner circle, and we're going to have a chat about what's going on with Lo-Kag. You see, Lo-Kag, actually, you know what? I'm just going to let Lo-Kag explain it.
Lo-Kag is a follower of Malakath, Diedrich Prince of the Orcs. And Lo-Kag is a devout follower, not just an ordinary, normal, schmormal follower. And as I talk to this white mane fellow, I notice that he say that you will approach the Diedrich Prince of Hirsine if you become a werewolf. Lo-Kag no want werewolf. Lo-Kag must stay true to Malakath and never do such a thing.
So Lo-Kag is going to choose not to become a werewolf, because it would be, of course, an allegiance or drawing closer to a Diedrich Prince that he is not aligned to. See, Lo-Kag's a loyal orc, a devout orc, and he follows Malakath and all the principles of Malakath. So for him to become a werewolf, as this white mane guy said, would of course mean that he would align himself with the prince Hirsine instead of Malakath, which is who he is truly aligned with. It's a role-playing decision. And I'll tell you what, playing the game like this is actually a ton of fun. Just because I don't know, I like to play role-playing games, pen and paper role-playing games. Right now, we just started a Legend of the Five Rings game, and if you don't know what Legend of the Five Rings is, look it up. It's a pen and paper role-playing game, and I'll be the first to admit that everybody watching these commentaries isn't necessarily a pen and paper role player, but if you ever get the chance to do some pen and paper role-playing, L5R is sort of a brutally realistic samurai game set in a distant land that's basically like Japan, and it's actually some really cool stuff. So when you're role-playing and you're playing video games, I don't know, personally, I think it's kind of a nice break from doing other things, because you don't have to do it. You can do whatever you want. Just have fun, that's what I say. So now we're on a quest where we're going into a town, and from this town, we're going to go up and talk to the Greybeards. But while we're in the town, we get a little quest where we have to go solve this place that's haunted with spirits or whatnot. We kill the guy who looks like a spirit. We can also read up his journal, Weirdemans, or the Journal of Windless, whatever. I'm done pronouncing elf names. So we're going to read through his journal, and as you read through it and flip through the pages, you find out that he was just doing it to scare away the locals while he was doing something else through the ruins. So it's kind of an interesting little side quest, and as I said earlier, I'm not going to go through all the side quests I do, but every now and again I'll talk about one. Then we go back to this guy and we say, hey, you know, this is what's really going on, give him the journal, and he's like, oh, that's what was going on, ho ho, blah blah blah. So we're in this town, and we can go up all the steps to go more towards the Greybeards. But before we're going to do that, we're going to head east, and we're going to head south. Remember, Lo-Kag is an orc, and he comes from an orc town that is within the vicinity of Skyrim. There's several orc communities, I think 4, maybe 5, can't quite remember the number off the top of my head, but there are several orc communities within the game. And so Lo-Kag comes from one of those orc communities, and he remembers where it is, because he grew up there. Well, when you're going on your way to this orc community, once again, it's kind of southeast of that town, you find Darklight Tower. This place has a nice quest in it, too. When you run in there, you'll see there's this lady, Ilya, whatever. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Talk to her. Basically, she's killing people, and she says, well, she's killing people because they're evil people, and she wants to kill them because they're bad, and she's, her mother's this head of this coven that's murdering people and using sacrifices and stuff like that. And I'll be the first to admit it's a little bit suspicious, but I think Lo-Kag's going to go along with it.
Lo-Kag will help, pretty lady. Yeah. But Lo-Kag has ulterior motives, yeah.
Okay, Lo-Kag, simmer down over there. So you'll smash your way through a lot of witches and spiders and the odd Hograven. It's basically just a harpy. When you get up to the top of the tower, you'll see the mother right here. Ilya will talk to her. This is a great chance to draw your weapon, hit your rage power, and smash the bad guy before she has a chance to actually do anything to you. You'll easily get her below half hit points on your first hit. Then she drops, then you can loot. And you got the quest done. She has some nice robes, but even better, she has an awesome staff. Great enchantment. You can disenchant it, sell it, do whatever you want to do with it. If you're trying to play more of a mage in the game, which I'm not, Lo-Kag's more of a smash and bash kind of an orc. Tough guy. Talk to Ilya, blah, blah. You can get her as a companion if you talk to her again, but I'm not going to do that because I prefer Uthgerd the Unbroken. She's my companion of choice.
Lo-Kag like Unbroken, yeah.
So as we go towards Lagashbur, which is my orc hometown or whatnot, I notice giants are attacking my orc cousins, my orc brothers, so I run up to the giant and I just start smashing it. Now, I'll be the first to admit that this is a little crazy. You probably don't want to do this every time you see a giant, because giants can one-shot you if you're not careful. He almost one-shot me just there, but I was still able to take him out. Lo-Kag is just that kind of guy. When he sees a brother orc in trouble, he valiantly charges in to save the day. Giant or no giant, Lo-Kag will charge heedless of his own safety. So there we are, Lagashbur. No, I'm horrible at pronouncing things. Lagashbur, I'll just say. And I'll let all the internet grammar Nazis correct me. It's not how it's pronounced, cold turkey. How come you always mispronounce things? So we talk to this chick, and she lets us know that the orc tribe is in trouble. There is danger in Lo-Kag's hometown. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for Lo-Kag. Because remember, he's a young orc, and he wasn't the chief, so he was cast out to do other things, as orcish communities go. I mean, that's not necessarily always the case, but that can happen within the orcish community, as per Malakath's teachings. So Lo-Kag's going to listen to her, and she's going to tell me that the Temple of Malakath has been overrun by giants, and the chieftain is an ineffective twat, and I gotta go help this town. But before I do that, I need a Daedric heart and Trollfat to start a ritual that she's gonna perform to talk to Malakath. So this right now, from a role-playing standpoint, has become Lo-Kag's primary concern. He's not worried about dragons. He's not worried about the voice. He is going to save this town, and he is going to slay the giants, because,
well, that's what I want to do, cold turkey. This is Lo-Kag. Thanks for watching.